Hello guys and welcome to the second episode of my Guild Wars 2 PvP Beginner's Guide. Today we'll have a look at the different PvP windows, tabs, as well as the differences between Hotjoin, soloQ and teamQ. This might sound self-explanatory, but I also want to mention the up and downsides or problems with the individual game types. But first, the PvP specific UI. When you're in the heart of the mist, you have three buttons that appear at the top of your screen. The first one is the PvP build UI, which has everything you can customize about your build in PvP in one place. In one of the next few episodes, we will take a closer look at how you can customize this and how you can actually get a proper build, but for this video I'll leave it at that. The game browser in the middle brings up the game browser. What you have to keep in mind about this though is that here you'll only find Hotjoin servers and custom arenas. All of the ones titled server and then a number after that are provided by ArenaNet and run with standard settings. Hotjoin is a game type in which anyone can jump on a server and jump out again at any time, meaning they don't have to wait for the current match to finish. If people leave and you'll suddenly find yourself in a 5v3 situation, for example, the game will automatically balance the team sizes. A little message comes up for the team with the 5 people saying the teams must be balanced, and you can either volunteer to switch the teams, or if nobody volunteers, a random person will be chosen. As you might already assume, this simple fact gets rid of most of the competitive spirit, and there are very few people who actually put much effort into trying to win games. Since people rarely actually care about winning in Hotjoin, it is the perfect place to try out new stuff or to get a first feel for the game if you're a new player. In case you do something wrong, there might very well be someone getting upset about it, but you can go away with the feeling that you haven't really screwed up anything important for other people. But there is also a downside to this. The mixture of many unexperienced people playing Hotjoin and experienced people not really playing properly often results in very suboptimal behavior. So remember this. Go into Hotjoin, get a first feel for the game, but do not, and I repeat, do not try and learn from what you see other people doing in there. I've seen countless people picking up bad habits from playing in Hotjoin and then doing that stuff in games where people actually care whether they win or lose. Okay, now that we've got that cleared up, let's continue. All of the servers that you're seeing here that are named differently are custom arenas. These are servers that are owned by players and they have certain settings they can change. For example, changing the team size from 5v5 to something like 10v10. I don't want to go through all the settings, but there are two things you should look out for. Next to the amount of players currently on the server, there are some icons. The eye shows you that you can spectate the game on the server. Next to that, there can be up to 2 more icons. The little lock shows you that the server has a password, so you can't just join that one. If you see the crossed out arrow on the server, it means that you will not get any rewards or rank progress from playing on there. This could just be turned off manually by the owner of the arena, or it could be that the settings are set up in such a way that progress is blocked automatically. This happens to limit the possibility to abuse the settings for faster progress. The third button is Arenas, where you can join solo or teamQ. In solo arena you queue up on your own and get matched with 4 other people who queued by themselves to play in your team. Unlike in Hotjoin, in solo arena you are queuing up for a game which will start once 2 teams have been matched together, and you are supposed to play until the game is over. If you leave in soloQ, you will get a penalty which, if it occurs multiple times, will result in a temporary ban from queuing again. SoloQ in itself is a good idea for times when you just don't have 4 other people you know to play with, but you want something a bit more serious than Hotjoin. But since it is a little bit more serious, there are people who care about winning the matches. Because you're matched up with 4 other people you most likely don't really know, the anonymity of the internet has its usual effect and quite often makes for a fairly hostile environment to play in. This is not really exclusive to Guild Wars 2 by any stretch of the imagination. It's just something you need to come to terms with any game that matches you with random people. A prime example being games like Dota 2 or League of Legends. I personally find soloQ a bit frustrating at times, but for different reasons. The thing that bothers me the most is just that you can't really properly communicate. This might work fairly well in other games, but in Guild Wars 2 PvP, communication is pretty essential. You can use the /team chat, of course, but in a combat situation it is very unlikely that you'll actually be able to write something. And also, strategy discussions in the 2 minutes before the game starts are often just ignored by other players. A tool to help a little bit with this problem is the minimap. If you hold Shift and then click on the minimap, you'll ping at the location. And if you hold Shift and your left mouse button, you can draw on the minimap. With a ping you could, for example, alert your team that you need assistance at a point. You could draw on the map to show where enemies are going. Or you could also be really immature. In terms of competitiveness, soloQ is pretty much a step in between hotjoin and teamQ. Which brings me to the, as I like to call it, proper PvP, the Team Arena or teamQ. When you click on the join button, you will get the option to invite your group, and once you've done that, you can queue up. The main idea behind teamQ is that you organize yourself with 4 other people. You can do that with friends, but there are also many people who try to organize teams via the Heart of the Mist /map chat. You can then actually coordinate strategies and in the best case scenario, be able to use voice communication software such as TeamSpeak or Mumble. I know Mumble sucks, but I needed a second example and it's definitely not gonna be Ventrilo. Even though queuing with a full team of 5 people is the best option, you are also free to queue with less than 5 people or even alone. Queuing alone in Team Arena is often a more pleasant experience than solo queue, since people are more frequently actually willing to plan out a strategy and there might very well be 4 other players who are on the TeamSpeak together. But there is nothing that will prevent you from being matched up against a team that has queued up with a full roster of 5. Which in most cases gives them a pretty big advantage concerning communication and team setup. One more difference between solo and Team Arena that is worth mentioning is the map rotation. Both have a pool of different maps from which one will be randomly chosen for every match. soloQ, however, has 2 maps that aren't in the teamQ rotation, Skyhammer and Spirit Watch. The reason for this is that, as I've already mentioned, teamQ is generally taken more seriously than soloQ, and with these 2 maps it is generally agreed that they have certain balance issues. Therefore they aren't in Team Arena, but they are left in Solo Arena to gather more data about the maps in order to possibly improve them. In the Arena tab you might have noticed the leaderboard links. If you click on them, they will bring you directly to the leaderboards on the official Guild Wars 2 website, where you can check your own progress and that of your friends and guildmates. Lots of people are complaining about the leaderboards, problems being that they don't have any real point to them, i.e. no rewards for being in the top 100 or something like that. And especially in soloQ, leaderboards have only very little to do with your own skill and more often than not with how lucky you were in terms of teammates. This sounds a bit negative, and it is, but there is change afoot. We still have no real time frame for when it is going to happen, but we can be pretty sure that ArenaNet is working on implementing some kind of leagues and ladder system. But at this moment it's still stuff for the future. Okay, so those are the most important ones, but there are 3 tabs we haven't talked about yet. The first one just shows a couple of statistics. Quite interesting to look at from time to time, but not really important. The second one is about reward tracks, but I'll cover those in a future video about the PvP reward structure. And the one at the bottom is about the custom arenas I talked about earlier. You can create your own custom arenas, but it's not for free. When you click on Create Custom Arena, you'll see that it costs 1 custom arena starter kit. These are available via the Gem shop. You can click on Get More and this will bring you directly to where you can get them. When you create the arena, you start off with 30 days of use. But afterwards you will need the time tokens you see right next to the starter kit in order to keep the arena going. If you have your own arena, you have a certain amount of settings available. For example, the map rotation on the server, the ability to set a password, reserve slots for people, and much more. These settings are used for a variety of things. Some teams just want their private server for training purposes, some use it to promote their guild and keep the server public, and some even use it to create different game types, such as 2v2 deathmatch. Now that you know what the individual game types are all about, the next couple of videos are going to be about how you play well in them. The first one being how to build your build. To get to the video, you can just click on the annotation in the upper right corner. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.